E3 week is upon us, and what I like to consider the most exciting time of the year. It's an overload of gaming news compared to the rest of the year, but that is what makes it so hype. The time gaming companies like to reveal their biggest plans for the year. And already, Elden Ring's release date was announced days earlier at the Summer Game Fest by the mascot of gamers himself, kicking off one of the year's biggest announcements before E3 even started. It caught me by surprise when he first announced this trailer, as he was even nervous before revealing the trailer, as he knew that this would be big. And in that moment, I knew that it had to be either Breath of the Wild 2 or Elden Ring, and I was right. Well, and the fact that he kinda gave it away by saying that this was from a series that had won a previous Game Award, and both Breath of the Wild and Sekiro won. And so, we finally got our first look at Elden Ring's gameplay and the release date, just early next year. And while it does look really good, I can't deny that it still looks like it's running on Dark Souls 3's engine, which funny enough, there was a leak for this exact trailer months ago, and I assumed it was fake because it looked like a modded version of Dark Souls 3, so I assumed it was fan-made. But no, it seems like that FromSoft is going back to the Dark Souls style of gameplay, which will be a lot more stiff compared to how Sekiro was, or even Bloodborne, which seems like a step back, but it will continue that Dark Souls style of gameplay fans want to return. So regardless, me being the huge fan of FromSoft's Souls series, I cannot wait for the next main game, as I've actually played every single one of them, except for the Demon Souls remake. Sadly, because I don't have a PS5 yet. While I played the original version, I was really hyped to play this remake because it was actually made by the same people who worked on the Shadow of the Colossus remake, them being Bluepoint Games. And for those who don't know, I actually let's played that Shadow of the Colossus remake on the channel, though interestingly enough, it looks no different than the Demon Souls remake in graphics. I mean, they both look absolutely amazing, yet one is exclusive for the PlayStation 5. But regardless, I find this fact complete and utter bullshit. I mean, that Sony would have exclusives for games that don't really need it, especially when they can't meet their supply and demand of consoles. And okay, I understand that because of the pandemic, things aren't going the way it would have normally be planned, but I think in general, if the game doesn't need a next-gen hardware, they should just release it for both consoles. Like, this isn't like console upgrades back in the day, where the upgrades were so huge from console to console, there would be no way to run a next-gen game on a last-gen console. But a great example of how this is complete and utter bullshit is Final Fantasy VII's remake and its DLC. You see, the original game was released on the PS4, yet the Yuffie DLC that's coming out for it is only for the PlayStation 5. And why, you ask? There is literally no reason why. It's pretty much adding on to an already existing PlayStation 4 game. And I beat the fucking game on the PlayStation 4, so why can't I resume it? And I don't care that if I get the PlayStation 5 version just for owning the PlayStation 4 version, if I can't fucking buy one. Like, what marketing strategy is this? How can this make people want to buy the next console when they literally can't? But okay, that's a problem for another time. Let's get back on topic, and that is with the announcement of the Elden Ring trailer and its release date, as this was actually one of the biggest things I wanted to see at E3, aside from obviously Breath of the Wild 2. I was honestly surprised that we got a new Elden Ring trailer before a Breath of the Wild 2 one, as both of these games were announced at E3 of 2019, and both of them blew me out of the water. But since then, they've kind of stayed silent until now, so hopefully the same goes for Breath of the Wild 2. And the time does seem right. I mean, with 2 years of development, I'm sure Nintendo has at least cooked up a trailer. And when this trailer does drop, I mean, I can only imagine it being game-changing in every way. I mean, this next trailer has to give us the official title of the game. No longer will we have to call it Breath of the Wild 2 or the Breath of the Wild sequel. This will be the first trailer of the actual game. so it will be a pretty big deal. And whether they show us gameplay of the game or more story to give us a better understanding of the game and the mystery of its first trailer, regardless, it's going to be exciting thinking of all the possibilities Nintendo can explore with this sequel. But with all of that said, there is a chance we might not even get a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer this E3, as it hasn't really been that long since Nintendo had Aonuma come on and mention how they weren't ready to show anything for that game yet. And that was the time he announced Skyward Sword HD, and the game has yet to come out. So for some reason we don't get it during this E3, I'm sure there will be some sort of Nintendo Direct for the game, or even a Zelda 35th full-on direct, similar to how the Mario one was last year. And again, with Skyward Sword HD coming out next month, it would seem a little weird for Nintendo to start promoting something else in the series before that game was even released. Though again, Nintendo might have something completely secret cooking up regarding the Zelda series, as according to a leak poster that will be available at GameStops from next week, there is a very similar looking design to the 30th anniversary artwork of Zelda that we had during that time. And obviously with this year being the 35th anniversary, maybe we'll be getting something more than just the Skyward Sword HD remake. Probably in Ocarina of Time HD, that would be the remake I would want more than any other game to be ported onto the Switch. I would absolutely love to see that alongside Majora's Mask, especially if they use the 3DS style graphics but actually make it in HD. Or if they decide to port Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD, I would be just as happy. But then again, this would really conflict with Skyward Sword coming out really soon, as a lot of people would lose hype for that HD re-release, as most people already are complaining about that game and want another Zelda game re-released in HD on the Switch. But then again, all of this is just speculation. We really don't know if we're gonna get anything Zelda related this E3, or if we're gonna get tons of it. I mean, only time will tell. My point is that I personally wouldn't be upset if we had to wait a little bit longer for any Zelda related content, as there are tons of other Nintendo games that really deserve the spotlight, and we know Breath of the Wild 2 is coming, so there's no problem if we have to wait until Nintendo's ready. And this helps me segue to my next topic, that being the other anticipated games I am looking forward to this E3. One of these games I'd personally love to see more than really any other game, even Breath of the Wild 2, because again, that game I know is coming. But a game I don't know is coming is Metroid Prime 4. I've been a huge fan of the Metroid Prime series as I grew up playing them on the GameCube. I remember thinking of the games as a first-person Zelda, and looking back now, I still feel that way with the series. Metroid Prime has tons of similar qualities to the Zelda series in what makes these games so rewarding. From the isolated exploration, to the puzzle solving, to the item upgrades and backtracking to make use of those new items, and similar enemy targeting, and even epic boss battles. Each new area felt like a dungeon from a Zelda game, but in a sci-fi setting rather than the fantasy one. Clearly, Nintendo's subsidiary shares similar talent in creating amazing games, and Metroid Prime has been one of them. So even if Nintendo focuses this E3 on a game like Metroid Prime 4, I would be beyond hyped, as again, Breath of the Wild 2 was mentioned to be coming, but a game like Metroid Prime 4, which was in development for years now, and was even announced to be redeveloped years later, when we haven't seen anything after the game's announcement outside of a logo, that is pretty worrying. Literally, that 4 in the logo has remained the little bit of hope every Metroid fan has held on to. And hopefully Nintendo will finally answer us. Another game that I would love to see that I'm kind of worried about is Bayonetta 3. This again was announced years ago, but we got nothing but a logo, and nothing since. Platinum Games, the creators of the series, are one of my favorite game developers of all time. They really know how to make games feel intense without losing the quality of their storytelling. but also they don't really take the stories that seriously. It's like they want you to feel like you're playing a game. Their games are so flashy and exciting, while causing your thumbs to get sore after playing them for a while. But that is what makes their games so fun. So when Platinum Games first partnered with Nintendo for Bayonetta 2, making the series' sequel exclusive to only Nintendo titles, I got so excited for the possibilities that could come of it. But sadly, there hasn't really been much to come out of it. Aside from Bayonetta getting crossover Nintendo content, like how she can dress up as Link or even Princess Peach. Well, just a way more revealing version. Luckily, with the Switch's success, Bayonetta 2 was given a second life. But I think it's time for that next game. And hopefully that's gonna be soon, as the only hope I have for this game coming out is seeing the game's character designer rage on Twitter all day and retweet perverted screenshots of his games. A 10 out of 10 developer, please don't block me, Papa Kamiya. But overall, with so many games in the works, I feel like anything Nintendo has to announce is gonna be exciting. But aside from Nintendo, there's obviously a lot of big events from also Sony and Microsoft, which I'm really looking forward to as well. Certain titles I'm really hoping to see are games like Fable, a game I was a really big fan of growing up, even though it didn't hold up after I grew up. But still, it felt like somewhat of a mature Zelda game. And again, I'm sorry if I keep comparing things to Zelda games. It was something I was done as a little kid, and now it haunts me till today, so bear with me. But yeah, in general, the Fable games were great for what they were, and it's a shame that the original studio behind it is no longer around. But now, it has been re-announced, and will be developed by the people behind Forza. Yes, car game. They're the ones working on it. Them being known as Playground Games. But, I mean, at least it's in the works, so my hopes are up to see this game come back to life, regardless of who's behind developing it. And another game I would really love to see, which is also behind Microsoft technically, is Elder Scrolls 6, as for those who don't know, Microsoft actually purchased Bethesda Studios not too long ago. But with their track record of already running things to the ground, only time will tell if things will get better because of this collaboration. But then again, with how bad Bethesda has been in the last few years, they also left a bad taste on most gamers, with their 16 times the lies.
It allows us to have 16 times the detail.
So this purchase for Microsoft will either save the company from their fall, or push them down even faster. 16 times the speed. But aside from big boy companies, I have actually more trust in indie games nowadays, as there are a good amount that I'm really excited for. One example is a game called Tunic. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this, as it's been in development for quite a bit. It's a top-down like Zelda game, and it even has the name Tunic in it, with the fox wearing a green like tunic. We all know what it was once inspired from. And this game, it looks so... Wait. Oh, shit. They have done an exclusive deal with Microsoft, and it's only coming out on Xbox and PC. Microsoft is now ruining indie games. Great. Okay, don't worry. I got another game that doesn't seem to be in any exclusive deal with Xbox, and that being Sable. This game looks so fucking good. You can play as a girl named Sable and explore a vast desert, and it obviously has major Breath of the Wild vibes with its art style. But the game takes it to the extreme with its cell shading, as it actually looks like a Mobius-style painting with every screenshot. Overall, it looks like a great pastime for any Zelda fan, and this will be a must-get on release. And another similar game, mainly in its peaceful vibe, is Sky Children of Light. This game was released about a year ago on iOS, but is now finally getting a Switch release. Personally, I've been waiting since to play it, because I'm not a big fan of mobile gaming, regardless of the game.
What up, Sonic Squad?
No, Sonic, you can't convince me you're having any fun. They paid you off.
That wasn't that hard.
And what makes me super excited for this game is that it's made by the same company that made the game Journey. What were they called? You know, that game company. Wait. It's called That Game Company! Okay, sorry, I forced that. Obviously that wasn't a joke. I wasn't stumped there. I just wanted to say it. Anyways, That Game Company is known for making such beautifully calm and relaxing games that take you on a short experience. It's surreal how their games are, so I can't wait for this one, especially since you get to play online with others. So I'm real excited to see how they incorporate that in their gameplay style. Now, while I could go on and on about all of these other games I'm really excited to see, as believe it or not, I played tons of games outside of the Zelda series and Nintendo in general. And hopefully this year will be the year I finally take that step and show you guys what I mean by that, as I'm a huge fan of so many other series, but it would be hard to branch out to them with the name ZeldaMaster. I've always felt somewhat restricted because of it, and it doesn't help that I built my audience by only really playing those games. So for those who made it this far into the video, I'm excited to announce something exclusively to you. Yes, hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be starting videos on another channel where I talk and play other games that don't relate to anything Zelda or Nintendo related. For those wondering, it's called ZM, so same alias, just abbreviated, as it could mean other things. I've actually made this channel for over a year now and been working on a bunch of different ideas for it, but hopefully they will launch soon. Overall, I think having a backup/secondary channel wouldn't be a bad idea to help diversify content. And obviously I do know to kickstart a channel nowadays it's way harder than it was when I first started, so I'll be needing as much support as I can get from you guys on there. So please make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and be sure to check out my first non-Nintendo style videos coming up in the next few weeks. I thought this video would be a good time to announce this, as it's more of a topical video and not many people will be watching this after E3. So I might as well give you guys an update to end things off here. Anyways, be on the lookout for tons more ZeldaMaster related videos in the next few days, especially with what Nintendo has to show for, and please check out my last few videos if you missed them. Also, I may be streaming the Nintendo E3 event, so be sure to generally be subscribed and check me out on Twitter just in case I announced it there. Link in the description, so make sure you follow me on Twitter at ZeldaMasterLuke. But as always, I've been ZM, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.